So I want to ask you guys a question. Leave your comments down about this in the comment section below. Is Luigi's Mansion HD and Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake overpriced? Because in this video, we are going to discuss the topic and overall what makes these 3DS games and DS games and GameCube games hitting the Nintendo Switch worth the price, so to speak. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, it helps the video reach more viewers when you do, and comment your favorite Mario game, it'll help the video get pushed. My Twitter handle is RoboRob93 as well if you want to follow me on Twitter. Without further delay, let's continue with the video. So the Nintendo Switch has been doing really well for Nintendo. It sells so well, in fact, that it could become the best-selling console of all time, which is pretty amazing. It has amazing games like Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and also Super Mario Odyssey, and a ton of great third-party games that are really fun. Like my personal favorite is Monster Hunter Stories 2, which speaking of, I do need to get back to Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now even though these games are fantastic, Nintendo has other games that they're releasing as well. Remasters, ports, remakes, these kind of games. Ever since really the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection, we have been getting more and more and more of these. And even when the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection came out, a lot of people were talking about the pricing, and even more so now, people are talking about it now, especially with Luigi's Mansion being a 3DS game and also costing $60 on the Nintendo Switch anyways. Like my whole thing with the Super Mario 35th Anniversary was that Super Mario 64 should have had more done to it. Honestly, a lot of games on there should have been more, how should I say, spruced up, in my personal opinion, and after what they did with Metroid Prime 1 Remastered, I just wish they went back to Super Mario 64 and did the same thing. Man, that game could have looked really great. I just see it as a really big missed opportunity to really refresh that game. But the price tag for that was $60, but you also get 3 games, and that one, I think that does justify the price, especially considering if you want to play these games, you need either a GameCube, hopefully that works, a Nintendo 64. Good luck with finding one that works perfectly, or at least for a while, because odds are it's going to be difficult to find a really good working Nintendo 64 that's in really good condition. Or a Wii U, of course, that's also an option. So these remasters did serve a purpose of having people able to access these games without having to buy a whole new console. Add in that it's 3 for the price of 1 game, and I thought that was a fantastic deal, even though I think they could have did more with the games. And then there's also games like Pikmin 1+2, which again has 2 games in it, and it launched at $50. So the pricing ain't that bad. Now fast forward to 2024, and you have Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remaster, or remake, honestly, it looks like a remake to me, and Luigi's Mansion 3 HD, or not Luigi's Mansion 3 HD, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, costing $59.99 US. And just looking at these two alone, they are very, very different, as far as we know anyways, because we don't know everything about Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. This whole video could just not matter in 1 or 2 months when Nintendo drops more information on this, but right now we don't really know too much, and it's been past a couple Nintendo Directs where they perfectly could have said, hey, this is the extra content that's coming with this game. Now, in my opinion, there are a couple of things you have to check mark for this price to be okay with people, or the right price for this game. The top one, of course, being a great visual upgrade. I think if you don't have a good visual upgrade and you don't have a lot of good improvements with environments and textures and frame rate, you shouldn't be asking $60 for any remaster. When you look at Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, there is quite an extensive upgrade from the GameCube version. I mean, like, take a look at these 2 screenshots right here. I mean, this looks drastically different from the original version, so obviously there was a lot of work put into this. And according to Nintendo's own website, there is also other graphic revamps in there as well. There's also different difficulty options, or more specifically, they've gone and adjusted the difficulty of the game, I should say. It is my hope that there are options for the difficulty though. If we can have like a super hard mode, that'd be fantastic. I love a good challenge in basically any RPG game. I mean, that's why I'm playing on the highest difficulty on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Well, dynamic, so if I'm getting really, really good, the game's obviously going to throw more at me. Or at least I hope that's how it's working anyways. But there's also updated features as well according to Nintendo's website too. And when you look at the prices for the GameCube versions of Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, there's things that are like from $40 to sometimes over $100. Some ridiculous prices for these games. Now, more than likely, now that this actually exists, it's probably going to go down, which is fantastic. And I think that's one thing that you really have to think of, and something that I've been thinking about lately is that when they do make these ports and remasters, the collection scene of of classic Nintendo games does tend to shift a bit to be more buyable, or affordable, I should say. I don't know why I use that word. So with all this in mind, is it worth the price for Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remaster or remake or whatever you guys want to call it? Well, personally, I know people are expecting me to say yes or no or a definitive answer, but honestly, I think it depends on who you are. If you're a big fan of these games and just want to try it out again, if you've played it on the GameCube, this might be for you or it might not be. It really depends on if you're willing to drop $60. It may not be worth that price because you've already played it. And maybe you don't want to replay it again, but if you do want to replay it, this is probably for you. Or if you never played it and you're like, well, it's either I spend $40 to $100 plus a GameCube if you don't own it, and that's even if that GameCube even works in the first place. Let's be honest, some people have GameCubes in their drawers that are all dusty and they might not work and they're trying to sell it to you. I guarantee people are watching right now, you're looking at your GameCube and it's probably really dusty. You need to clean that one off. I may also be talking about myself. But yeah, if you don't own a GameCube, you're gonna have to buy a GameCube as well. You can also buy a Nintendo Wii too, so you can pop it into the Wii also. There's a ton of those out there. But again, that's if you can find a working one. It may be easy, it may not be easy. It may be just depending on the luck of the draw. So with all this in mind, can you say the same thing about Luigi's Mansion 2 HD? That seems to be the big focus when it comes to this conversation right now. Now, as far as I can tell, there's only gonna be a visual upgrade, and it is a nice upgrade. I'm not saying that it's a bad upgrade. It's not like Super Mario 64, especially coming from the 3DS, which nothing against the 3DS, but let's be honest, it's gonna look a lot better on the Nintendo Switch. But as far as I can tell, the versions on the 3DS of Luigi's Mansion 2 are between $25 and $30, and that's for a 3DS game. Some places, if you want to trust them anyways, you can probably find it lower. There are some prices that are like $12 or $5, but honestly, those look like a scam to me. And there's also another factor that you have to also include in this conversation as well. We don't really know what else is included in this remaster. I mean, for all we know, there could be way more to Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, just like A Thousand Year Door. Because remember, A Thousand Year Door comes out first, and then we get Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. So maybe Nintendo's gonna show off more about this game later on, maybe in its own video. They did that with the Peach game, remember? They also did that during the Mario Day Direct, so maybe we will get more information later on. But as far as we can tell, it's only a visual upgrade. I think 40 to 50 would have been better for this game. And honestly, in my opinion, even 50 is kind of stretching it. Again, that's just my opinion. I know everyone's gonna have their different opinions in the comment section below. Which, speaking of comments, you guys have replied on that poll I did. 435 of you guys voted on the question of, do you think Nintendo is charging too much for Luigi's Mansion HD? And some of you guys did mention Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door as well. So we're gonna read off some of those comments and reply to them. Flynn White 93 says, I think $39.99 should be the highest for any remaster that isn't a crazy improvement. And yeah, that's what I was kind of alluding to of the 30 to 40, or not 30 to 40, 40 to $50 price tag. And that's why I said, even 50 is kind of stretching it a little bit. I'd have to agree with that. $39.99 definitely if there isn't a crazy improvement. Which is why I was so surprised that Metroid Prime 1 Remaster was $39.99, because Jesus man, it is a big improvement over the GameCube one. And the next one is The Speed Forever, and he says, no, it's not too much and will sell great with the Thousand Year Door remake. Now, funny enough, and I didn't even think of covering this news in this video, I'll cover it in another video as well, but it actually sold out on Amazon. So yeah, I mean, these are gonna sell well. I don't know about Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, but man, that Paper Mario game is selling like hotcakes right now, or at least pre-orders anyways. Now, Cola Break does bring up a very important point, and this is what I was kind of alluding to within the video in the beginning about there being multiple games in the Super Mario 35th anniversary. He says, yes, a bit pricey if they would have bundled the first one with it, yes. And this is something I think they should have did. They should have added Luigi's Mansion 1 with Luigi's Mansion 2. I mean, they had it on the 3DS as well. I think just like Pikmin 1+2, the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Collection, I think they should have added the first one. Even Monster Hunter is going to be having the first Monster Hunter story and 2 in a bundle. So I think definitely that is a good idea. That's definitely something I think they should have did. I agree with them. Now, like I said in the video, it is too early to tell what's going to be happening with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, and Joe Politz, I probably said your name wrong, I apologize if you did, or if I did. He says, personally, I think it's too early to tell. If Nintendo comes out and says there's bonus features, new modes, etc., then no. If nothing is improved upon aside from visuals, then yes, it's expensive. So yeah, I 100% agree with this. It's definitely something that we have to wait and see, but I find it hard that Nintendo didn't say anything on Mario Day? I mean, it's Mario Day. Why wouldn't you tell us more about something that's Mario related? Kinda anyways. I mean, it's Luigi, but I mean, it's his brother, so, you know. Yeah, and then another person who commented, Jim Man, says that I literally have no idea what changes, if any, are being made. I am not liking the pricing that I am hearing, unsure if I will purchase the game because of the price point. And yeah, that's another thing. The reason why I'm not gonna buy it is because the price point. I'll just wait for it to drop if it'll ever drop anyways. You know how Nintendo is with their prices in their games. But I also have GameFly, so I can just rent the game as well. Or maybe if there's a Black Friday deal. Usually these are the type of games that end up going on sale on Black Friday. So I can wait on this game. This isn't a game where I'm like, oh my god, I have to play. In fact, I'd sooner probably buy a 3DS and buy the game just for collecting and playing purposes. Because I've been wanting to get a 3DS ever since I stupidly sold my other one. I don't know why I did that. I should have kept it. And a lot of the comments on there are along those lines, that they say that either we don't know much about it, we don't know if there's going to be any quality of life improvements. Like my gaming channel says, unless they make some quality of life changes to the game, I honestly don't think it's worth $6 for basically a handheld experience. And that's another thing I was thinking about for the 1,000 Year Door, is that you get it on a handheld. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is already available on the handheld. So my final thoughts on this conversation is, as far as we know, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is just not worth it for that price tag, but I think personally Paper Mario and the 1,000 Year Door is worth it with the visual upgrades, the new difficulty options, or the difficulty adjustment I should say. The fact that the pricing for those copies, that when you buy them online, are really expensive still compared to Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which you can find a copy for like $20 or $30, which is still pretty expensive for a 3DS game, don't get me wrong, but it's not like it's 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 or Jesus, I've seen some that are like 120, sometimes over 200. I don't know what they're thinking, especially when you go on Amazon. Is this like a weird thing that I'm missing? Because whenever I see prices for retro games on Amazon, it's a ridiculous price. Like, I've always wanted to collect retro games, but now I'm thinking, I don't think my wallet can handle that. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on that and some people from the channel. If you guys are subscribed to the channel, or maybe you're not and you just want to get your thoughts on there, leave them down in the comment section below and let's discuss. That's the whole point of this video, is to discuss. So let's discuss down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.